All right, we are live in Chef's Kitchen. My name is Christopher Sheffield. I'm joined each and every podcast by the former National Hockey League player agent, Dave Frost, who is...
What does 95, 104, 113 million mean to you?
That means that you got out of being an agent about 25 years too early. That's what that tells me.
Fucking right.
What would it take for Dave Frost to get back into that?
I couldn't do it. I cannot stand the politics of the game.
Yeah. So I'll share this with you about the New York Mets and Pete Alonso. All the New York Mets fans are pissed off at Scott Boras, who is Pete Alonso's agent. So correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're the agent, you pretty much do what the player asks you to sign for, right? Like if he says, I want to go there, you make it happen with that GM. Is that how that works?
Well, generally, especially the higher end guy or higher end player, they dictate. When you're young, you kind of take what they give you.
Right.
Like with Sheldon Keefe, we had big leverage, so we got him the cap.
Right.
Whereas Mike, he was a later round pick. They didn't know how good he was going to be, and they got him cheap at $550. But could you imagine, if they knew, fucking, he was a stud.
I think
so. It's all variable, but I think Alonso would rather go back to New York, and I think Scott Boras, for whoever the people don't know, is a high-end MLB player agent.
Right.
Oh. So I think Alonso should have already signed in New York, and Scott Boras sold them down the river on and said, "Oh, we can get more." Right. Now they might get a little more in Toronto. If he does indeed sign in Toronto, that'll probably be the most he'll get. But I have a feeling he'd take a little less just to keep his place in New York and whatever, right?
Right.
But who knows? Like, I was surprised Scherzer came to Toronto.
Why were you surprised about that? That's my next question to you.
Well, because supposedly he had 4 concrete offers all in and around the same, and he told some of the Jays' current pitchers, wow, the management told me they're doing this and this, so I think they have the best chance of winning. And fuck, who would have said that a month ago?
No. Do you still think the Blue Jays will re-sign Vladdy, or do you think it might be wise to trade him at the deadline?
I have a feeling what Vladdy was waiting for was all of this, like to see transactions.
Right.
So I think he could very easily sign in a couple weeks once all the dust settles. I mean, I hate the Blue, literally can't stand the two of them. But I have to admit, I've liked their last 2 weeks.
The Blue Jay management you're talking about.
Right. I like some of their signings. Now, the Alonso would really finish it for me.
Yeah. Well, having a lineup with Santander, Alonso, and Bichette isn't the end of the world because they're coupled with Dalton Varsho and a couple of other young players.
Well, no, I'm kind of looking at it. It gives Vladdy some serious protection they haven't had since Donaldson's big years, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I'm a little more positive about them, especially if they land Alonso.
Right. All right. So before we deep dive into the salary issues of the day with the salary cap in the NHL, have you ever had a player approached the way Saad has been in St. Louis? How does that work when you're the agent? How does that work? They contact you. They want to put you on waivers. How does that work?
Yeah, basically, there's got to be a lot of dialogue. That didn't happen in my day.
No.
You know, nowadays they have fucking no problem doing that, eh?
Well, it kind of look back at the Trouba thing. They could have done the same thing there. The player has to clear waivers. So we know that. So Trouba probably wasn't going to clear waivers.
I mean, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, but could you imagine? Could this happen after the deadline? Because it's not a trade.
Yeah, listen, the Trouba one still confuses me. Like, it's not like he's a bad team guy or it's just fucking weird.
Yeah, they wanted him out of the locker room. They wanted the contract off the books. And all of this reminds me, of course, you're going to love this, of a Brian Burke trade when he had Jim Sandlack was going to the Hartford Whalers, and he was the warm body that went after the deadline. So in the summer.
You know what? I really like Jim Sandlack.
Yeah.
He was at Castle's wedding.
Right. He went. He did. And
yeah, I want you to try and name the Whaler.
Okay.
That went to his wedding.
Went to Andrew Castle's wedding?
And I'll give you a hint.
All right.
They had one Hartford Whaler table to themselves.
But you just said it was Jim Sandlack.
That's one.
I have to name one other one?
There was 6 altogether at the table.
Sean Burke.
Sandlack.
Jim Sandlack. Jeff Sanderson.
No.
Wow.
John Cullen.
Oh, we're going way back.
Wow, he played way back.
Yeah, because Andrew Castles has been there. He was there since '88, I think.
Yeah, he was there a while.
Yeah.
I remember when Montreal traded him. He was
what year did he get married?
Oh, God, I don't remember that. He's divorced now.
Yeah. Let's see.
He's a general manager.
Paul Holmgren.
No.
Jim Rutherford.
No.
Pierre McGuire.
Pat Verbeek.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could see that now.
Now there was 2 more, and I can't even remember it unless I hear the name.
Oh, gosh. Zarly Zalapsky.
Oh, fuck, it might have been Zarly. I think him and Andrew were tight and close to the same age.
Yeah, because he was a Greater Toronto kid. Wow. Mark Janssens.
No, I don't remember him.
Ooh.
Think of John Collins' line, Verbeek's line.
Wow. Not Deneen.
No, I don't think Deneen. They were a riot, though. Of course, he put their table beside mine, knowing that we'd be the rowdiest tables.
Pronger.
No, he didn't like Pronger.
No. Wow.
Yeah, that was a good night with those guys.
Paul Ranheim.
No.
Paul Ranheim married Miss Alberta.
I just remember John Cullen being a fucking great guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little wee fucker with long hair.
Yeah. So getting back to Brandon Saad, it really do you think a contract?
You know what I don't like about it, Jeff?
What's that?
Brandon Saad has been sucking.
I guess that's what you do. If you're not getting along with your team and you can get out from under a contract, you do it. The Philly
this
trade,
whole ordeal is going to cost him about $2 million.
Yeah, but he's not in St. Louis, and he hated it there.
Now he's in Vegas, no tax.
Right. So that was my question: is do you think those contracts are set up before the players even waived?
I think maybe not the exact dollar figure, but they know the agent will have talked to Vegas.
Right.
And probably a couple other teams. Like supposedly Toronto offered $1 million.
We'll get into what Toronto needs to add later. But so my next question is, what's going on in Vancouver, and then what's going to happen with the Rangers?
Well, I think Vancouver's kind of on a standstill because they won 3 in a row. And they not only won, they looked really good. And I think Rutherford's hesitant to fuck around and give up points because, he wants to make the playoffs.
Right.
Old Anthony there, the owner, he wants to make playoffs. Probably about $1.8 million a gate, right?
Right.
So, I would say you might not see anything until the deadline. And I think they'll get more for Pettersson than they will JT, given his youth. Right now, the word on the street is everyone's trying to steal them.
Right.
And Jimmy Rutherford's like, well, you can go fuck yourself. I'm not giving them away.
Right.
And you can't blame him.
No.
And the more he keeps winning, the more the leverage goes back on his side.
Right. So the Rangers are actively shopping Zibanejad, Kreider, Lindgren, and Keandre Miller. What do you think?
I don't know if that's actually true, but I'll tell you now, I always thought Chris Kreider was awesome. I loved him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's fallen out of favor, he's sick in New York, or what it is, but that's a risky fucking trade, don't you think?
Yeah, I just, the Rangers are in the mood to dump contracts. So
why though?
Well, I mean, if they look at their landscape in the next 3 years, they're not built to win in the next 3 years. So why spend on players that can get you assets coming back? It's a lot like that Philadelphia trade yesterday. Everybody's like, oh, Calgary won that trade. Calgary gave up term and they gave up picks. And for middle 6 forwards, they gave up a lot.
I think Morgan Frost, no relation.
Okay, thank you.
And what am I going to say? I think there's some upside, and that deal could come back to haunt them. Look at New York and Philadelphia's owners got money.
Right.
Now, are you going to clear because maybe you want to revamp it? If that's the case, I say, okay, good move. But in the end, a lot of teams, this is going to change the landscape, this new cap. I mean, when you start getting into $90 and $100 million, it's like the old days. Like the Rangers, the Flyers, the Leafs, the Canadians,
Yep.
probably LA, Colorado. Those teams can literally buy a team.
Right. So, what do you think of? All right, now we'll just jump into the cap. What do you think of the cap? I know we joke around about it a little bit, but
Well, obviously, you know what I'm going to say, right?
you're going to want as much money for the players as humanly possible.
Exactly. Like, I see Matthew Knight and Tavares are back on the ice. I like the cap being high so you can sort of get out of your mistakes.
Right.
And that's why I loved it back in the day when Toronto could do that. Like, in fact, where they were fucked with Marner and Tavares and Nylander and Matthews making too much of the cap. Well, now that won't matter.
But I also think the better players are going to be more expensive as well.
Oh, they're going to be. Like, if you don't think I'm going to say Tavares went from willing to take 5 to now probably 7.
Yeah.
You'll get it. He won't. You shouldn't get it in Toronto. And the little pipsqueak there, the non-playoff performer, he may go from wanting 13.5 to 15 with the cap. And those numbers to me, like the rumor is McDavid's gonna want 20. It's gonna be the first $20 million contract.
Where do you think he signs that?
Well, Edmonton probably offer him $100 million deal to re-sign, but Toronto may offer him, and he might go back to home.
Yep.
Listen, you can't joke around. There's something to be said. You live in Edmonton for the better part of the year. It's literally freezing fucking cold. Yeah, he's got a mansion. Yeah, his house is gorgeous. Yeah, he goes to Muskoka in the summer. But Toronto's winters are a fuck of a lot more mild than Edmonton.
Right.
Now, because he's a Canadian kid, maybe the snow doesn't bother him. I don't know the guy. I do know a lot of guys that couldn't stand it, and they were Canadians.
Yeah.
But does he do it just to go play with Matthews? I mean,
I think he does it. I think he does it to come home.
Maybe to come home, yeah.
Could you see Tavares and Marner signing a bridge deal to see if McDavid actually does become a Leaf and they take less after the bridge deal?
I don't think so. I see Tavares possibly choosing just to stay at home. I don't see Marner giving the Leafs any break whatsoever. He never has, and I really don't think he ever will.
It also opens the door up for Nyes. Where do you see that?
That kid's gonna get $7 million.
Yeah.
And you know what? He deserves it.
He does, but what perplexes me...
I'm a little concerned about... I mean, he's a big, strong kid, but he gets hurt a lot.
Oh, yeah. gets nicked up every so often.
And he's coming back tomorrow night off his latest injury. The injuries worry me with him.
Yeah. Well,
I've had a couple of guys say to me, he's not quite used to the NHL still. And he's got that college. See, we're in the OHL and the WHL and the Quebec League. They play a hefty schedule.
right.
So their bodies get used to it, eh?
Right.
In college, you're playing once a week.
Roughly.
Oh, no, sorry. What do you play in college?
Play twice on the weekend, roughly.
Yeah, twice on the weekend. Sometimes only one on the weekend, but yeah. They literally play half the games.
Right. Right.
So I just think after a few years, now he should be up to par. He's probably eventually going to be an $8 to $10 million player. But I think soon, coming off his entry level, he'll get 7.
So what do you think of the Leafs goaltending?
Well, I think Wall is predictably unstable. If you play him too much, it shows. I think they badly need Stolars to settle them down and to get more out of Wall. I think it's a good tandem when they're both healthy.
Right. I think so as well.
But I think clearly Stolars is the better one.
What do you think of the rumors that Brad Marchand is going to be a Toronto Maple Leaf in March?
Well, I never heard that, but I did tell you a couple weeks ago when you asked me about Boston, if Boston kept just win one, lose one, and stay stagnant like that, I'd trade him. I'd get assets for him.
Okay.
He's going to play with Crosby and McKinnon. So he's going to be in the prime spot to really highlight himself, right?
What does a Brad Marchand trade look like for the Leafs?
Well, I think in general, the trade for Boston is going to be a high pick and a regular NHLer.
So the Leafs do not have a first or second rounder this year.
They could probably give up a second in a couple years from now and maybe someone off their top 9.
Justin Bourne is also reporting that Morgan Riley will not be traded.
No, he won't be.
Nick Robertson will probably end up getting traded.
Yeah, but what are you going to get for him?
Yanni Gord, maybe Brandon Tanev.
I guess you could put him in the Tanev deal, yeah.
One of either Fraser Minton or Easton Cowan will be moved at the deadline. What do you think of that?
I think if Toronto lands a big fish, I think you will see Minton or Cowan.
Which one would you rather keep?
Well, I haven't liked Cowan lately.
Yeah. What do you think of Dylan Cousins being moved by Buffalo?
Well, he was supposed to be in the Vancouver deal, right?
Yeah. I don't know if I would do Cousins and any of the defensemen on Buffalo for Peterson.
You wouldn't?
I would not if I was Buffalo. I would not. If I'm Buffalo, I'm not trading Cousins.
Well, they've got bitten in the ass a couple times in some of their trades, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Guaranteed they're gun shy.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't blame them. I'm just gonna see who my ESPN. How many ESPN channels are there?
I don't know. I don't watch ESPN.
Like never?
I don't have a reason. I don't get it. I only get the ESPN package for hockey.
This has Nashville, Buffalo.
Yep. Yeah, those are the games tonight that I can get. I can get all of those games.
This is a weird system, Chef. It has every team listed in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
And when you go on it, if they don't play, they just go, no game today, next game, blah, blah.
We don't have that.
You don't have anything like that?
We don't have anything in alphabetical order like that. We have, you know what the funny thing is? We didn't get the World Juniors at Christmas. We're not getting the All-Star game. We're not getting Four Nations. Any game that's on.
Oh, come on. You're going to get Four Nations.
Where? Where would we watch that?
Guaranteed there's going to be games on Four Nations.
Yeah, it'll be on NHL Network. It's not going to be in the NHL package that you pay for.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That's going to be on NHL Network. So I won't get any of those. And if the game is on NHL Network, if it's an NHL game and it's on NHL Network, I cannot get it in the package. I can't get it on the package if it's on an ESPN Game of the Week with the two bozos calling the game. And I cannot get a Ducks game and I cannot get a Kings game.
That's just stupid.
Of course it is. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life. Unbelievable.
When you come here, I'm anxious to show you this system.
I will probably lose my shit.
Why, you get any game, anywhere, anytime.
It's horrible.
Horrible? No, it's good.
All right, so who do you have for the Super Bowl? Even though we're a week away.
Well, you already know who I got.
Philly.
No, Kansas City.
Why?
I just don't think anyone can beat them. Like, first off, that they played really well against the Bills, and I thought the Bills were going to give them everything they could handle.
Yeah, but the Eagles played well as a club as well.
Yeah, they played really well, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think KC's just too good, man.
I don't know about that one.
Dude, you thought the Bills were winning.
I knew it would be close. Let's see.
Can you explain to me how the fuck an airliner right above the airport, all kinds of lights, gets hit by a fucking Black Hawk helicopter upon landing?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. The helicopter was too high in the air. The helicopter was told there was a plane, and they identified another plane. So they were moving away from it, and it was into the path of the one they hit.
Let's be honest, shit like that should not be happening in 2025.
Should never happen. You're exactly right. Let's see.
Those poor people already had their cell phones out. We're getting ready to deplane.
Yep.
Like, it's disgusting.
Wiped out a lot of the figure skaters for the U.S.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. You know, going back to when Buddy landed the 747 into the Hudson.
Yeah.
How big of impact that must have been to smoke everybody and not have any survivor. They were close to the ground.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if anyone hit the water and just froze.
Well, yeah, they won't know that for a few weeks, but it's
Will
the
they ever know that if there was people alive before
yeah,
they hit the water?
yeah, because it's the ingestion of water and fuel and chemicals that would be in a person's lungs or stomach.
So you gotta hope for the family. The explosion was so intense, it was quick.
Yeah, you want that. I hate to say it like this, but you in a situation like that, you want that instant death. I mean,
Yeah.
um, you know, if you're gonna die in a plane crash, you want that instant death. That's I can't believe I'm saying that, but that's how it is. Um, what's popping up right now is Canucks and Rangers are discussing a JT Miller trade as we speak.
The only way if I was Vancouver, I'd trade him straight up for Kreider.
Well, maybe the Canucks will get a little bit more. Maybe they'll get a defenseman out of it.
I can't see it.
Well,
I'd be happy just with Kreider. What the hell is this now? Aircraft reportedly strikes a mall in Philadelphia. What the fuck is going on?
small plane crashes near Philadelphia Mall. Casualties are reported.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. Well, so what do you think of, well, how do I say this? Ottawa's in the third spot in the East. Do you think they can hold on to it?
I don't know. I like Green. I think he's a good coach. I don't know if he has the horses. I'd love to see it. It's probably the only way you're going to get Toronto to win the first round.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Well, because Ottawa's not beating Toronto in a playoff round, I don't think. I think, speaking of Toronto, not only do they need to, I think they're going to do something big.
really
Yeah.
up front, you think?
Yeah, I think they're going to bring in a high-end forward. And I'll tell you why. He's not stupid. Toronto was not scoring. And they were losing 2-1 games in the playoffs. They need a game breaker.
Yep. Do you think Marchand is that game breaker?
I don't know if we'll see when he plays for Canada where his game's actually at. I think he's lost a couple steps.
All right.
I think Toronto needs to get like Brock Nelson or someone like that.
What about Ryan O'Reilly?
Yeah, but he's not going to come.
No.
And supposedly Barry Trotz promised him, like, I'll do whatever you want. He's on a 2-year deal, right?
2 or 3, I can't remember.
So Barry's going to want Stamkos, Riley. He's going to want those guys all back.
For a reboot.
Yeah, he's going to. Nashville makes money, so they're going to use the cap to their advantage as well, right?
Right.
Like, it's funny because back in the day when you could out purchase your problems, you still had to know what the fuck you're doing.
Right.
Like Toronto brought in Brian Leach and brought a bunch of veterans in. But if you're like Kyle Dubas, you're just making mistake after mistake. In other words, you got to know what the fuck you're doing.
What's
Correct?
the next big move you see Pittsburgh doing?
Fire Dubas.
He's there for a few more years.
Wow, they don't care about money. The Red Sox, they're rich.
Well,
I think he could be in trouble this summer. I really do.
yeah. And they have no draft pick this year either.
This is year 2, so that would they'd be on the hook for 3.
Not good.
That's probably one year too many.
Are you hearing anything up there about Trevor Zegras?
Oh God, nothing.
No.
I talked to a hockey guy I know in Nova Scotia, and we were talking about Verbeek at first. And he said to me, you know, that kid can't play, eh? He's terrible.
Yeah.
I started laughing. I'm like, yeah.
He can't play.
No, he can't.
With Drew Doughty now back, do you see the Kings moving Brant Clark?
I do think LA is going to make a trade because Doughty's back. They can afford to give up a D. And I also think Doughty's going to play for Canada. He's fucking good, man.
Yeah. Do you think Doughty would ever ask for a trade, or do you think he'll finish his career in LA?
No, he loves LA.
All right.
I know when he played with Richards and Carter and they won those cups, he repeatedly has said, like, he's never leaving. Him and Kopitar, I think, lifers.
Which has been the most embarrassing Leaf loss in the last 2 weeks?
God, I think they look so bad. Like, I thought the Minnesota one was, like, they didn't even have a heartbeat.
What about Columbus?
Yeah, that was bad. I don't like them, Shep. I've told you. I know you don't like. Here's what I was trying to think of the other day.
Okay.
How many times have you watched Toronto start to finish, the game's over, and you go, holy fuck, are they looking good?
A lot.
No, not me.
Oh, lately?
No, all year. I think there's maybe a handful, like Stolarz was good, power play, they're physical. Maybe 5 to 7 games where I was like, holy fuck, they look good.
Maybe
A lot of their other wins are like last minute and holding on. And they're not, like I told you before, they were the worst best team in the league.
Right.
I don't know if Ruby's what everyone said he was.
I don't like him as a coach.
I think they gave up a lot of X's and O's with Keith.
Yep.
For a lot of brawn from Ruby, and he's yet to really show the brawn.
Yep. Nothing. He has been a dud as a coach. I don't think Craig Berube has the smarts with the X's and O's. I think the power play is a joke. It's hot and cold. It should be more consistent. I think the defensive scheme that they have is not as good as it would have been under Keefe if Sheldon Keefe had actual defensemen that could play defense. And I don't think Sheldon Keefe ever had a goaltender that he really trusted. I mean, all of it was forced onto him by Dubas, and when Dubas won the power struggle with, taking over for Lou instead of Mark Hunter, that was the beginning of the end.
Yeah,
I mean, it really was. I mean, we're sitting here. The Jake McCabe trade this is year 3 that he's been with the Leafs, and they got to give up a first rounder this year for McCabe. Like, what the fuck is that?
I like McCabe though.
I do. I like him. I don't love him. He disappears too much. Throw a fucking check every once in a while. All you need to do is hit him once to send the message. And really, what the fuck, dude? You are a defensive defenseman. Throw a fucking check. Benoit's out there throwing hits, and he's playing with, Mrs. Timmons, for crying out loud, who's fucking horrible.
Did the Yankees sign Cody Bellinger?
They traded for him about a month ago.
I must have totally missed that.
Yeah.
That's an astute little signing.
Well, his dad played for the Yankees and won multiple World Series with them, so.
Actually, what do you think of the Jays?
I think if the Jays were.
Not so much what do you think of them. What do you think of their last 3 moves?
I like the last 3 moves. Santander is a keeper. They'll put him in right field or left field. Then you're going to have Springer and Varsho filling out the rest of your outfield. That's not bad. I've seen worse, but it's not bad. And then you have Scherzer on the mound. And, if the Jays are out of it, they can trade him at the deadline and get something.
I really like I have thoughts of Roger at the end of his career coming to Toronto.
No, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that heater that Roger had.
No,
it's not. It's still there, but it's not. He's gonna have to. He's gonna pitch more on guile, like David Cohn or Dave Steve.
He's got killer instinct, Scherzer, though, right?
He's got the instincts, but that 100-mile-an-hour heater isn't there all the time.
And I'm going to tell you, the one thing in Toronto, Chef, is they treat big-time pitchers like fucking rock stars.
Well, he'll love the attention.
Oh, you can't get it there.
I think if the Blue Jays were smart, they would offer Pete Alonso 4 years, $80 million, take it or leave it. And it's only $20 million a year. It's less than what he wants, but it's longer term. And Pete Alonso and Vlad can rotate through as your first baseman and your DH. And it's also a security blanket in case Vlad does leave. And that's the other thing. I would go to Vlad before spring training and say, look, this is what we got. Think it over. Tell us what it's going to take to sign you. And if he says, I'm going to free agency, I would trade Vladimir Guerrero for the highest bidder. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's basically what they've already done. They're not afraid to put Vlad on third either, eh?
No, I mean, for what? For a year, and you put him at third and he says he's happy there. But the one thing that rings in my mind about Guerrero is I can't remember which trip it was into New York to play the Yankees, but he showed up and he cut his hair. You remember that?
No.
Cut his hair, and he never told anybody why. But that is a telltale sign that Vladimir Guerrero is ready. He will conform if he had to, and he'd sign with the Yankees. And I actually think that's where these first basemen are headed. That's why you see Goldschmidt and the rest of them. Walker, he's not. First of all, Guerrero's not going to sign in Houston for $400 million because Houston will never offer it to him. But that's why you see these clubs offering one-year deals to these first basemen, because Vladdy's going to be a free agent in a year, and they're going to take a run at him. They don't want to give up anything for him. I think it's a mistake. And Bichette, I believe, is a free agent as well. He's next. And it's too bad, but that's the way the ball bounces.
Dodgers money spent on free agents, $1.8 billion.
Yep.
That's ludicrous.
Well, a lot of that money's deferred. Kraken's Yanni Gourde out 5 to 7 weeks following sports hernia surgery.
Oh, there goes him being traded.
Yep, he's done for the year.
Oh, no, he'll come back, but...
Well, I mean, how good are you going to be when you come back? Let's see. What do you think of Carolina giving up Natchez and Drury for Rantanen?
I like Rantanen. I think Rantanen's a good player.
Do you think he'll re-sign in Carolina?
If I was Carolina, I'd hope so.
What that trade tells me is that Colorado is not going for it. That's what that trade tells me.
Yeah, they're... Okay, so you got Shohei, Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Tyler Glasgow, Roki Sasaki, Tony Gosselin. They have a strong staff, eh?
Yep. What do you think of the Rangers' Jimmy Vesey being unhappy with his playing time and his role with the New York Rangers?
Wow. It's the old story. You want to play more, play better.
He was on a...
I thought he sucked in Toronto.
He sucked everywhere. He got a majority of his games in Buffalo when nobody was watching him. He was on a PTO in Toronto. He was on a PTO with the Rangers. You're a fourth fucking liner. Play like it. Play like you want to stay in the lineup.
Hey, the New York Mets signed Nick Madrigal.
Yeah, that was a stupid signing.
Why?
Something just came over. Hold on. The Rangers and Canucks are in agreement for JT Miller.
Get lost.
TSN insider Chris Johnston has reported that. JT Miller has already left the building in Dallas as the Canucks prepare to play the Stars tonight and is headed to Boston because the New York Rangers bus has already left New York City.
You're joking, right?
Right here, bro. Hold on. Right there.
Reliable source?
Chris Johnston. Yep. There you go.
So what'd they get for him?
They haven't released the players hold on, I'll give you that. There you go.
Wow,
They probably can't get a hold of the Rangers are literally sitting on a fucking bus on I-95 going to Boston as we speak.
So I would say it's got to be Kreider. That would be a fair trade.
It'll be a fair trade, but I'll tell you right now, if the Rangers can keep Kreider and have JT Miller, they could possibly rebound and be a playoff team.
God damn it. What a massive.
And how stupid for Vancouver. Like how
Go on Chris Johnson's Twitter and keep refreshing it because he'll have it fast.
I don't have Twitter.
Christopher Sheffield.
Yeah.
Hold on one sec. I'll check if I can find out.
Breaking news in Chef's Kitchen. I knew that if I refreshed long enough, it would happen.
I guess we have our answer, Miller GG. They're about to play, Chef. Half an hour.
No, they play tomorrow at noon.
My source went right to voicemail. Fuck.
TSN's Faran Tajadi is reporting that center Philip Chisel is among the pieces going from the Rangers.
Who the fuck is Philip Chisel?
He's been out with like concussions and shit like that. I'll tell you right now.
Why would Vancouver do that?
Philip Chisel, defenseman Victor Mancini, and a protected first-round pick, while Elliot Friedman reports that the two prospects are defenseman Eric Brandstrom and Jackson Dorrington. Oh, my God. Are you fucking high?
So they're not getting a regular player back for him?
Nope.
So they just tanked their team for playoffs.
Yep.
You got to get somebody back. Like, what the fuck?
Dorrington is the defenseman going to the Rangers. He's a kid from North Reading, Massachusetts. They gave up a 6'2" defenseman. That is horrible.
So did they give? Is that guy a regular?
No, he's a young defenseman in the Canucks organization that they coupled in with JT Miller.
Okay, so who did Vancouver get back that can play tomorrow night?
Philip Chisel. Wait till you see that.
Whoever the fuck Philip Chisel is.
Yep. Victor Mancini, who has played 15 NHL games to his credit. Huh.
What is wrong with Jimmy Rutherford?
Yeah, he's always been a dick.
He usually makes good trades, though.
Really? He traded Pronger for Shanahan.
He traded who?
Pronger for Shanahan.
You can't argue with Shanahan, though.
He sucked in Hartford. Yeah, this is
Elliot Friedman says that it's done.
let me refresh everything, see what I can get back.
Wow. Breaking news on Chef's Kitchen.
Yep, we always get the breaking news.
I got the Vancouver game on. It's on in 30 minutes.
I'll be able to watch that.
Why?
Who are they playing? Dallas?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll get that all night.
Oh,
I'll get that on repeat.
Where do you get that?
I get it on the ESPN package.
Well, that's nice.
Yep. Let's see what else.
You know what I had today, Chef?
What's that?
Today's Drake and I's, we eat out Fridays, right?
Yeah. Where are you going tonight?
Oh, we've already gone. So I go get it late afternoon, bring it home for dinner.
Where are you guys going?
No, Drake chose pizza. He loves pizza.
Yeah.
I got KFC, chicken, what do they call them? Fingers? No.
Chicken tenders.
Tenders.
What does Drake
Fuck.
get on his pizza?
Oh, he's real simple. Pepperoni.
That's it?
That's it.
No sausage?
No, now, if somebody had, like, when I had the whole family here after Bridget passed, I got pizzas from my local New York style guy,
Right.
and we got a lot of, because everybody, we got a lot of different types, right? So he tried a few different. I actually discovered that I like different as well, but I'm very plain with pizza as well. I can't take the cheese. I have to be careful with the cheese. I don't know what's happened to my body. I'm in shock that you're telling me that they throw it. I thought for sure if they were going to trade JT Miller, they were getting back someone solid to play now. You know, Chef,
You
if
know,
I was the owner of the Canucks, I'd be like, you just fucked us making the playoffs.
yep. They're not going to win with those pieces coming. I can't figure it out. Those pieces going back to Vancouver are not players that will put you over the top. Not even fucking close.
I don't even know who they are.
Yeah. That Shizzle guy is a third liner at best. They didn't have to give up anything. They literally, that player, I'll tell you right now, that guy Chisel, he's played in half the games in the last 3 years because of concussions.
And I'm going to go the other way. The Rangers just got way tougher.
Yep.
Maybe they won't trade Kreider now. You put them together.
I'll tell you right now, Philip Chisel, hold on. Philip Chisel has been an NHL regular since 2018, 2019. Here are his games played up until now. Don't forget we had the COVID seasons, right? But in any event, 75, 60, that was COVID. 42 out of 55, that was COVID. 67, 74, 10, and 41 this year.
So what is he, a two-way?
He's a two-way center. The most he's ever scored in a season was 2023. He got 22 goals and 23 assists, both career highs. Obviously, career high in points. He's never scored above.
So they traded Miller and they got a third line center.
They got traded Miller and got a third line center. Their third line in Vancouver is all set, folks. It's all set.
It's got to make you think, eh?
Yeah, like what the fuck? Victor Mancini. 15 games, like I mentioned earlier. Has one career goal. So he'll be the second pairing in Vancouver for sure. And it said that there's two prospects that are.
Okay, wait. You think Mancini is going to be in Vancouver's top four?
No, just joking.
Oh.
So it's Chisel, Mancini, a first rounder that's protected, and it's JT Miller Eric Brandstrom and Jackson Dorrington going to New York.
So is Mancini a regular in New York?
He's only played 15 games.
Now, is that because of injury or?
Yes, because his last 5 NHL games were December 6th, December 8th, December 9th, December 11th, and December 14th of last year.
Oh.
So he's in Hartford. He's not even. Yeah. He's a 6'3" defenseman. It'll give the Canucks some size, but no skill. He's a college kid.
Wow.
Yep. He played for Nebraska Omaha. Yep, that's college. Jesus. What a fucking disaster. What a disaster. Oh my God, what a disaster. I wonder what Bielska thinks of that, because that's a fucking horrible trade. The Rangers probably acquired Brandstrom to get him off of Vancouver's 40-man, and then they'll waive him. Wow. That's horrible. That's horrible.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I'm shocked. I really thought he was gonna get more.
I've never seen a team get less for a player of that stature.
You know how good JT Miller's gonna be in New York?
He's going to play like his balls are on fire.
I really believe that.
The Canucks will also get a protected top 13 NHL first-round draft pick. I don't know why they write it like that. It sounds idiotic.
Well, they're saying if New York, I get it. If New York finishes in the bottom 13, they don't have to give up the first.
Yeah, they'll have to give up the one the next year.
Yeah. But this is going to strengthen New York.
Oh, yeah. New York gave up nothing.
I wonder how pumped JT Miller will be going to the City of Lights.
Right now, JT Miller has his running shoes on and going to sprint from Dallas to Boston, and will probably get there by breakfast.
So he's pumped.
Oh yeah, they're already ripping apart Vancouver on the online. Vancouver getting fleeced.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yep.
It's a puzzling move.
I can't believe it.
They must have something else in the cooker.
Well, Jimmy Vesey is going to be really disappointed by his fucking playing time now, if he wasn't already.
Well, Miller's going to for sure be in the top 6 in New York.
Yep, so I would put Miller with
Kreider,
and
well, they're both on USA, right? 4 Nations.
I believe so. But they have Lafreniere up front as well, and then the second line will be Zibanejad with Trocheck, and they'll have to find another body. I'm sure they have some. I don't even know. I don't even look at the Rangers roster. They're that.
They have like with Miller and Kreider, you have really gritty guys, man.
Yeah, that's a.
I think that's why Los Angeles wanted Miller.
Oh yeah. I can't believe that they gave up that little.
Now, does Los Angeles have the goaltending to make a run?
Yeah, they've got Darcy Kumper.
You like him, man?
He's won a Stanley Cup.
Dustin Wolf with Calgary. You watch him much?
Not really.
I watched him last night. By the way, they made the trade while the game was on TV.
What'd they do?
But
They put players right out of the right out of the right
after the first period, yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah. I'll tell you right now that
Conroy's
trade by Calgary was horrible.
Conroy's getting his ass kicked for the trade.
Of course, he gave up term and he gave up picks and he gave up a player that was improving their lineup in Peltier. It's horrible. If Philly was smart, if Philly's not going to make the playoffs, they're going to take that Russian and flip him for a second or a third. You know, you take your chances with that.
I was surprised that Philly gave up the youth, though, weren't you?
No, because they got actually younger in the trade. They did give up youth, but Farabee and Frost have already plateaued as NHL players. They're both 25 years old, and they've reached their peak. They're not going to get better. They're going to be middle six forwards at best. And Philly also acquired picks, like a second rounder. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking.
See, I don't know if I agree with you on those two. I think there's some upside to them still.
Yeah, but they haven't improved as NHL players. They both played roughly 400 games. So, and to me, that tells me that, you know, I mean, there's Jones and Briere and Tortorella are all on the same page with that. You know? I don't know. I'll tell you right now. Morgan Frost. He's a 6-foot center. He's 25 years old. He's played 278 games. How many goals has he scored in 278 NHL games? Do you know?
No idea.
50. Scored 50 goals in 258 NHL or 278 NHL games. Not a lot. Farabee is also, he's 24. His birthday's next month. He's an American. He's 6 foot. And he's played close to 400 NHL games. He has 90 goals. But these are middle round or middle six forwards. They're not anything great. What the hell are you doing? What the fuck is that?
I don't know. I'm trying to work on my backgrounds here.
You're what?
I'm working on my different backgrounds.
Jesus Christ, you look like Beetlejuice from Howard Stern. Fucking Christ.
You kill me.
How old are you? Me? I'm 34 years old. Beetlejuice, how old are you? Me? I'm 45 years old. Come on. Jesus.
All right, what movies are you watching this weekend?
I'm not watching any movies. I'm watching the Leafs and Edmonton on Saturday.
Okay, well, there's 2.5 hours.
Yep.
So you got time to watch a flick. What the hell do you do in between?
What do you mean?
Well, assume you sleep 8 hours a night. You wake up. You got about 15, 16 hours to kill. You watch one game a night. Eat dinner. What the fuck? What do you do?
I watch Hawaii Five-0 and
like
I sleep.
Hawaii Hawaii 5-0, like the old Magnum PI?
Yeah, like Steve McGarrett, the old one. All right, the trade is complete. JT Miller, Eric Brandstrom, and Jackson Dorrington headed to the New York Rangers for Philip Schizzle, Victor Mancini, and a protected first-round pick. Done.
Wow, is that ever insane?
That is embarrassing by Jimmy Rutherford. Embarrassing. I wouldn't go home.
You're surprised, right?
Oh yeah. Yep. If the Ranger pick is protected in 2025, it is unprotected in 2026. That is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. Because the Rangers, when's the last time the Rangers finished in the bottom third? I'm looking at you.
I can't believe they did it, Chef.
Oh yeah. That's the stupidest trade I've ever seen in my life.
Like
They gave that shit away.
He's in Canada, man. He's gonna take heat.
He ain't taking shit. That's the worst fucking trade I've ever seen in my life. And I remember the Francis and Samuelson trade. This is horrible. Horrible. I'll tell you what, Jimmy Rutherford, he can't go to dinner for about a month. He's got to eat at home. He can't go out.
They're like I can't believe that was the trade.
Yep. So is Peterson a center?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Peterson's a center.
Well, he's number one center now. Good luck, bitch. He's going to get fucking hammered. Oh, my God. How pissed off do you think Rick Tocchet is right now?
Well, supposedly he liked Miller and wanted them to trade Peterson.
Oh, that's going to go over well. Well, of course, their GM is a Swede. Oh, my gosh. I can't get over that. Holy fuck. That is horrible.
Yeah, I gotta admit, that's less than ideal. Wow.
Horrific. Horrific.
How
All
long
right.
have you been on here?
We've been on the air an hour.